hi. Welcome, welcome. The Early Morning Ascension Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. And this is Joanna. We're going to talk about some lifestyle products that are some of my favorite, just because we've got to add some beauty, 5D beauty, beauty lifestyle products, just because it's fun. we want to really fall in love with who we are. So my beautiful male clients, and you know who you are that watch regularly, send in any products that you use, that you enjoy using as natural organic things to help you lift your energy vibration of self-love and self-care and self-appreciation. And we'd love to hear from you. So put those in the links below, or just send me an email or DM. And our links are below. We have our weekly Communities of Light every Thursday. Thank you, Spirit. We've had some huge activations and timeline jumping and timeline shifting. So it's really feeling really quasi, as we've been talking about in our classes and in our community meetings. So I'm really, really excited. We have a new group of beings with us today, and they're sitting with me as we've had these timeline jumps. All of my gifts and my skills and abilities are tuning in a really different way. So it's been really exciting to go through that process of self-exploration and discovery. So we're really excited. And we also wanted to talk about youth ascension. We've had some great comments and some feedback because we're now preparing, those of us that have been on the path for so very long, about what this means for the upcoming 5D shifts and the 5D 2022. Which will be about really practicing feeling into the mastery of the emotional body, really mastering it, because now that we're accelerating and oscillating at a much faster pace, the manifestations will be a lot quicker. And our emotional body is, our emotive experiences is how we manifest. And so it's really good, again, that daily self-care, understanding your ascension cycle, as we've often talked about. We're going to keep talking about it. And then the vibrational stories that you exist within, and how all of those vibrational stories, from your lineage, your akash, the dogma, the social systems, anything that is conformed, patterned, and limited from the egocentric societies that we've been bathed in for eons, is now all being broken up, and everything is being bathed in the light, so that we can create these new expansive stories that are from the self-guidance of sovereignty, of who we are as spirit, who we are as the divine essence that's coming from the infinite experience of who we are as spirit, on all dimensions, all realms, all galaxies. And then we get to co-create as the soul that we are. So we're so very grateful for the soul that's coming up to meet us today. And so just open up your pillar of light through a full body breath. And ground. Thank you for being with us today. We love you so much. Thank you. Thank you for being with us today. And we wanted to talk about the pearl threaded. And the pearl threaded is that momentum that you carry in your community. The pearl threaded is who you are in your uniqueness. That's the pearl threaded. And it means that you're sitting within the awareness and the consciousness that you are the male and the female, the mother and the father. And you are sitting within, as often as possible, that's your awakened state, your conscious state, is right in the middle of that Vesica Pisces, which is neutrality, meaning that all is spirit, all is God, all is source, and to really release any story that creates any level of separation, good, bad, light, dark, us, them, anything, because it's all you. And that's what the awakening to oneness is really all about. When you're allowing yourself to be within the center of every experience, regardless of how we judge it, because judgment is just from a belief system. A judgment is from a historical experience, or from a societal expectation, or from a societal notion, or from a societal dogmatic definition or role or responsibility. And so source creator, as being source, that's what we're aligning with, is the higher self, has no definition or judgment on anything in creation, because it's all spirit. It's just where you choose to create that level of experience. You want to create your level of experience outside of the definition or right within it, so you can experience it from all angles. Either way, it's all source. When you limit it and when you judge it is when you create that separation and that resistance and that inability to evolve beyond it. And so when you put yourself in the center, and there was one of our videos from 2 years ago now, that Mother Mary had given me this download on what divine relationship was all about, and how inside the very center of it is the alchemy potentiation. That alchemy potentiation is when you accept yourself within it all. When you accept yourself within the center of the experience, whatever it is, whatever that's coming up for you in any moment, put yourself within the center of it and soften within it, surrender within it, and then accept it fully. And then you have released the karma, you've released the story, you've released the negativity and the bondage that is connected with it. That bondage is usually that connection of, in the tarot deck, we call it the devil energy, or the Capricorn is the devil frequency. And we say devil frequency only because of the frequency lineage that it comes from in its alchemy or symbolism of the planetary alignments. And the steeped systems that it comes from to earn and gain that mastery is what Capricorn is all about. It takes eons to learn that level of mastery, and that's what that energy is all about. However, where we are now in the system is, yes, to take those masteries of those systematic routines to learn mastery, but the mastery now comes from taking yourself outside of it and being fluid with the all. Because remember, the tarot deck allows us that experience of that subconscious, but now the subconscious is all coming up for renewal of the oneness. And so this is why the tarot deck over the many years to come will change, because the tarot deck is based on subconscious belief spheres and patterns that we're now all breaking. And so it will still be relevant because there's still going to be many people that will be going through many of the subconscious healings, you know, and so the tarot deck will still be absolutely, yes, it will be relevant. Of course, it will always be relevant because it will always connect us with our past and our present and our future. But the symbolic themes of the archetypes, because we're calling up all of the subconscious, all of the inner realm stuff, the inner realm stuff is living with us in every moment now. So then we can understand in any moment what level of archetype are we moving in? Are we moving as a page? Are we moving as the empress? Are we moving as the hanged man? Those are the archetypal energies that you get to move in and out of the infinite navigation that is spirit, that is creation. So this is why we have the divination tools, because it helps us assign and align and navigate the various information and energies that are always constantly with us. However, we must understand that we're moving into a 5D experience, which is the allness. So we will always try and master that center point, that navigation of neutrality, which is what many of the children now are allowing themselves to understand, because they've been given such great potentiality. We're moving into this new experience of universal threading, calling it up through that pearl threaded. That pearl threaded is, again, you're putting yourself within the experience of allness as often as possible. I am the all, I am the all, I accept the all. And just getting used to accepting yourself and releasing any density that comes up with that. Because as soon as you accept yourself with the all, your soul and your higher self will pull in anything that is most relevant. It's always most relevant for you to transcend and accept and heal. And so in that, we're allowing ourselves to know that you are the navigator of your new now moment of 5D potential. Where are you directing your energy? How are you focusing your energy? How are you intending your energy to create that new template? Breaking out of the old patterns that are now crumbling away. And how can you direct yourself into something that really feels good and it will always be aligned with joy and creativity? Because that joy and creativity is the nourishment of the spirit. We're not nourishing ourselves from outside forces anymore. We're nourishing ourselves within. And that is the only way that we truly create true self-empowerment, true self-clarity, true self-direction, and true self-fulfillment. That's the only way that we can create that. It doesn't come from anyone or anything outside of us. And that's why any definition outside of us, any story outside of us will never ever suit and be fully who we are as individuals and sovereign beings, as the creativity of who we are. And again, that's why we've always said that your unique fingerprint, your unique blueprint, your unique soul experience with spirit, the chrysalis of who you are. The chrysalis of who you are, this is the micro-macro. So when you were first born in your highest experience of reality with spirit, your very first individuation from spirit at the most highest of frequencies, each person on this planet has their very first experience. Their first experience in every lifetime and every body and every realm and every planet it's experienced through light and dark, if you will, has a unique experience and unique soul themes, unique soul families, unique soul experiences, because again, the soul is infinite. You have infinite bodies, you have infinite forms, you have infinite experiences, because your soul wants experience, your soul wants expression, your soul wants exploration. So every time you pop off from source, as you return back to the soul through death, we call it a death process, but now that we're ascending, we won't necessarily have to die, because we'll have eternal bodies, we'll have eternal light. We can shift and change our bodies whenever we want. So in previous eons, we've had to die to then go back to the soul, regenerate, renew, go through our karmic soul, our soul review, in which from the highest masters and from the highest teams, we look at our lifetime and we say, what could we have done differently? How could we have learned in a deeper way? How could we have loved more? How could we have given more? How could we have been a part of the soul family more? That is what you review in soul lessons. And so then you would choose another body and you would have your regeneration time and you'd come back down to have another body. And then you have another soul experience based on the lessons and the themes that you didn't carry on that lifetime before. And it would also connect with all of the other bodies that you're here with, because your soul is vast and expansive, and why you have soul family on the other side of the world you've never met. It's a part of the same soul or oversoul, oversoul. You're connected. We're all one. So that's why oftentimes when you think that you have the most challenge with someone, they're part of your soul family. They're your brother and they're your sister. And they're meant to show you those reflections of who you are and what you can learn and how you can grow. Not to eventuate any type of an agenda against anybody to say that you want to take something or get something just because of whatever reasons of impartiality or whatever one might do that for. Each soul is unique. Each soul is divine. And so each soul has its own set of gifts and its own set of skill and its own set of akash and lineage. And why would you want anybody else's? Because you've had this profound, great lifetime, probably last lifetime. In this lifetime, you were here to learn the challenges and support others, because your soul wants the eventuation of all experiences. Your soul doesn't want timeline after timeline of being great. Your soul would never do that. Your soul wouldn't, because why would you always want soul lifetimes that are always great? Because if you're always great, you never have any idea of how to grow through hard times or challenge. You never know about compassion. You never know about empathy. You never know about sympathy. You never know about compassion. So your soul has to have that, again, the Vesica Pisces. So, and that doesn't say that you're only going to have a lifetime of just challenging times or just great times. The soul is an infinite cycle of experiences. And once you clear the densities and the limitations, you're going to have more and more great experiences and allow others their great experiences and support each other in the way, because that is the oneness factor. As you give out, so it comes back. So as you lift others up, you too will be lifted. So that is just the laws of the universe, and how to understand soul growth, how to understand the psyche wounds that have been here for us to clear. Because your soul's blueprint is connected to many other people, your children. Your soul's blueprint affects your children. How you choose on either side of the Vesica Pisces, if it's not right in the middle of greater good, creating all as neutral, meaning that all is valid, all is sacred, then those energies are affecting the children's potentiation of their timelines. And so on and so on and so on, because it's all micro macro. And the guides that you have always with you, anywhere from 3 to 10 guides, depending on where you're going in your life and how many guides you need to prepare you and to help you, guide you and align you and keep redirecting you if you're not listening to your higher self, anywhere from 3 to 10 guides that each person has to ensure that their life's destiny is carried out to the highest and to the best, because your soul and spirit only wants you to be happy. So if you're creating ego experiences that don't ever create happiness long term, that's when you must go within and start saying, well, how can I truly be happy? Because it's only within the soul nourishment. Only. It will only ever be. You will have the temporary satisfaction. Then you're always going to come back to, well, how can I get more? How can I be more? How can I be defined more? It's always ego. And that is the deep wounds of separation, of segregation, of self-value, self-worth. So that's where those wounds must be healed from within, to nourish the spirit, nourish the soul. Therefore, you get soul nourishment, and you're continually being that pearl threaded, pulling up into the higher vibrational threads. That pearl threaded has momentum. When you understand it, you're just returning back to center, loving the all, forgiving the all, and creating that greater radical self-acceptance. Then you have the momentum as you're going around in your spiral of now. You're creating that momentum to carry others with you that are equally ready and doing the work. Those of you that are on ascension, and those of you that are light workers, and those of you that are consciously practicing self-love and self-acceptance and sovereignty and self-direction, you're now becoming more awake to your skills and your gifts and your vocational desires, how to assist humanity in socio-altruism. Then your momentum of light, your momentum of quickening, your momentum of passion, your momentum of creativity, your momentum of doing things new, out of routine, you're going to start carrying the vibration, because it's all magnetics. Your oscillating center is now hyper. We say hyper in the way that just the cells are moving, and it's different than it was before, because remember, the biggest thing that we're working on right now is breaking old patterns. When you break old patterns, every other molecule around it goes, hey, what's going on? That's why change is so exciting. those molecules around might be a week or two saying they might be in disjointedness and judgment or even anger because those molecules are going, what's going on? You know, and then they see the fun of it, and then they say, well, wow, maybe breaking out a pattern is okay. We're safe. We got this. Because it always takes one person to break out first, right? Make sure nothing's going to happen to them. Make sure they're not going to fall off the cliff. And then other people gather steam because they say, hey, that's fun. Why not? Why can't we just be normal? Why can't we just be normal within our own, what is normal to us, right? Singing and dancing around the room is normal for me, right? For other people to be like, what are you doing? Why are you so happy? You know, so you get to find your own momentum, that those that are ready to vibrate in that experience will start to come and pull that pearl threaded. And then you just keep continuing those threads, which is at a universal level is what we're doing universally. Universally, we're moving into a higher thread of co-creation. Universally, we're moving up to another bandwidth. We're here, we're moving up to this bandwidth, and we're keeping pulling threads down, and pulling threads down to weave into this new template. And that brings us to, how are we inspiring the children to be a part of their new 5D template in ways that are inspiring and creative for what they choose to build, not just to regurgitate a system that's now breaking. And so we've had many discussions over the past few weeks of our youth ascension. And, you know, some of the comments that came through was the challenges that students have of maintaining their scores and their test scores and their grades and things like that. And the pressures that they feel about that, and the pressures that they feel about not measuring up, if you will. And again, how those systems are devaluing who they truly are. And it never, ever taps into the multidimensional potential that they truly are. And it has nothing to do with grading, because the grading has no, how could you ever grade a spirit? How would you ever grade the creativity and the inventiveness of a master, which is what they are? Would you grade Jesus? Would you grade Buddha? You know, no. You just have them be the spirit of love that they are, and everything will come to them. When you're in joy of the spirit, everything in your DNA will be activated in divine timing as you're ready. Your gifts, your skills, your talents, your wisdoms, your inventiveness, all those memories just come on board. Your teams are doing so much, and you are doing so much as a soul to manifest and to alter and to, they're saying redify. So it means ready and magnify new pathways of interpretation of energy and wisdoms, as well as processing of the information and wisdom, because it's a multidimensional experience that is now changing in many different ways that we don't even have words for. And so have that be okay. But the children will get it because they're more multidimensional than we have ever been. And none of our systems have any tapped into, except for perhaps a couple of AutoCAD classes where the children can really tap into multidimensionality, and of course art class, because it allows them to tap into those unseen talents that activate the various parts of their experiential discoveries within who they are, to then express it and explore it in dynamic ways that are really profound in allowing them to move about the planet in a more natural, dynamic way, as opposed to, you know, very archaic, stifled, stoic, you know, suppressive, you know, learning by the book kind of thing. And it has its place. But for the spirit of the creativity to expand their dynamic intelligence, to expand their dynamic dimensionality, which is what light does. Light activates dimensionality. Light activates intelligence. Light activates light. Light begets light. And that is expansive and creative and innovative and evolutionary. That's where we are. We're 5D evolutionary. And you will know when you feel stuck, because you just feel, oh God, okay, things will not move. If you're stagnant, your abundance will be stagnant. You will not earn any more if you're stagnant. That means you're not letting go of systems and beliefs that your soul has been showing you are ready to be let go of. Those wounds are not being healed. That's why we have stagnancy. You become stagnant when those wounds and those belief systems are not being healed and released. So you got to go in. If you feel stagnant, you got to go in and heal those wounds. Say, no, I'm ready to break free of this. Like, what the crap? No, I want different. I want to get ready. Come on, I want to receive, right? The universe will put a plug on it. If you're not working on those wounds that the universe kept showing you, the universe will put a plug on it until those wounds are healed. And so that's why that stagnancy occurs. And that's why you will only have that same cycle, only earning and only experiencing the same thing. Because that's, you're telling the universe, this is all I want. It's all I'm okay with that. So it's important that we review and reflect our choices. Where am I vibrating at? Am I okay with just being stagnant? Am I okay with the same cycle? And every person, because we're on a free will planet, every person has the free right to choose that. or not choose it. If you don't choose it, the spirit and your soul, based on your soul's blueprint, if your soul's blueprint says you're meant to evolve this, the soul and your teams and the spirit and God and creator and the angels will come through and create a tower based on your choices to say, no, your soul is planned to ascend. Here's a few tower moments for you. What are you going to do with it? Because you have everything, you have all the tools and capabilities to transcend whatever it is you feel stagnant within. It's just the fears and beliefs that say you can't, you don't, or you're lacking anything. So just know that's why those things occur. Towers are your benevolent staircase to your mastery. So bless it. Don't damn it. Bless it. Because that's where your strength is. Get out of the stagnancy. You're meant to. Start shining. And don't be afraid of it. And no apology. And allow others their path so that they can also stand in their pride and they can say, yeah, I can get through this. And, find a buddy system. Buddy system is really crucial when we're working through this awakening process, so that you have somebody to talk to while you're going through a release. And it's usually timed with the moon cycles. And so just get to know yourself at an intimate level. And so here is some channeling stuff that we got from the youth, and we're so excited about it. Because what we want to do is we want to start feeling into this 5D template, right? That's out there, all the beautiful sensations about, okay, well, how can we change the systems that are all crumbling right now? They're all being rewritten and they're all being kind of rumbled up in the dust. And we're really creating them from the socio-altruistic excitement of, boy, we got some really great stuff that we can start doing. We've got a lot of great work we can do. Because everything is now kind of, all the dust is not yet settled and everything's kind of up in the air and everybody's still kind of half focused on COVID and half focused on, okay, what next? How do we get into this new realm of positive, loving health and potentiality for our bodies? And where's my notes? Can't remember what pages that was on. Okay, they were saying, the bravest souls go to the darkest places, for they really want to know and they really want to tap into the oneness of all things. And so that's why sometimes through my own process of ascension, I've gone down to if we're talking about, tarot archetype, I've gone down to the page level a couple of times so that I could navigate different social collective experiences for the children's collective, so I can know the psyche wounds of what's being experienced. And then I can come and teach about it. And I can come and create, visual arts that assist people in moving through the things that they experience and can't quite put into words, but really matter on who we are as multidimensional beings, and really take our conscious awareness to new levels. Because our entanglement with everybody, whether you're a mother and you have, other children that you're looking after, whether you're with them or not with them, your entangled soul at a soul level, and your prayers and your light and your intentions to see them live their best life and to have the highest excitement for their best life and for them to go through all of their challenges with great joy and excitement, anticipation, instead of damning everything that comes in their way. You get a lot of things that are in your path because you absolutely know that you're a master to transcend it. And so for me, oftentimes it's like, oh, no, come on, not again. But your teams are just saying, this is nothing for you. You should see what you do on other galaxies and other universes. So just suck it up and you get in there. You got this. You know the understanding about navigation of energy. So get excited about it. You got this. You got the power and you got the will. But there's usually, most often than not, why we feel that way, because they're the inner child wounds where we didn't have anyone. We didn't have that inner support. We didn't have that emotional support that said, you got this. We didn't have any type of teaching at all in any way that was the highest of divine alignment that said, you are born infinite beings of light. Return and nourish the spirit within. You have the answers. You have a team. You have spirit within you that will lead you through any challenge. So what do you feel? What do you really feel? Feel into the who you are as spirit. Feel into the what you are as spirit. Feel into the what you exist within as spirit. And all of that is within you. And we were never taught these things. So this is where we're going to now in the 5D. We're going to the return of the sovereignty, the return of the power of who we are, the return of what we're able to create. And how can we then project it in a way that is healthy and balanced? Because we all know as empaths what is projected when it's not healthy and balanced. It's hateful, it's demeaning, it's belittling, it's disrespectful. All of those things that an empath feels. And this is what the children feel. If there's anything that's going on that's imbalanced, the children feel it. And most often than not, they take it on because they internalize it. They've never been taught about their fields and their bodies and how to manage it, how to put on fields and shields of protection. So they're not taking on people's crunchiness when they're going through a release. And so it's really helpful that we start talking about the multidimensionality of who we are, to really give these children self-care and self-ownership and self-pride and self-confidence and really walking within that self-empowerment of, yes, I know who I am. And that pillar of light is constantly fed, constantly nourished, and no harm will come to their bodies or taken advantage of, because they know absolutely that they're in charge of their consciousness, and nothing and no one can touch it. Nothing, no one. As Jesus said, nothing and no one can touch your consciousness. Affirm it throughout your day. Nothing and no one can touch my consciousness. Nothing and no one can affect my consciousness. Nothing and no one can touch my chakras. Nothing and no one can touch my destiny, because you are unique. You are the consciousness of you, and Spirit and God in the highest of the heavens protect you and walk with you. So know that. Who do you walk with? And therefore, you're going to heal all of those stories of subjugation, or stories of mind control, or stories of black magic, or stories of whatever we played to have those roles of victimization, because victimization is being healed now throughout the entire collective. And you can take ownership of that. Take ownership of your body. Each person is and are responsible for their own creative experience. And this is what we are all learning as a collective. I wish somebody had taught me that. I said to my teams, like, man, if I knew then what I knew now, I wouldn't have made 98% of my choices. And they're going, well, you wouldn't have created what you created and helped as many people as you helped. So you go through what you go through for your own unique reasons and your gifts and skills and why you're so passionate to come forward. So just, there's always a reason, but you got to go in and start loving yourself to know that what are my reasons? What's my soul's blueprint? What does God want me to create on this planet? What does God want me to express? And your teams will always say, we just want you to be happy. You're meant to be happy. You're meant to be joyful. And then you say, well, why am I not feeling happy? Most often than not, it's because the spirit is not being expressed, because you're in limiting systems of depression and suppression, where you are told that your gifts are not important, where you were told that you're not that important. You're told you are not that special. Yeah, you are. I'm telling you right now, you are. Everybody that is listening to this, you are damn special. You are damn important. And don't let anybody make you feel as if you don't deserve living a really great life. Because you do. You absolutely do. You are powerful. You are profound. You are sacred children from the heavens. And you absolutely deserve to live your highest and best life. And you're meant to be joyful. You're meant to be happy. And you're meant to be abundant through it all. So be okay with that. Be okay thinking and knowing that you are meant to be abundant. You're meant to be abundant. You're meant to be abundant. Say it. I am meant to be abundant. I am meant to be joyful. Say it with pride. Say it with pride in your name. I am meant to be abundant. I am meant to be joyful. And now say your name. I am meant to be profound. I'm meant to be abundant. I'm meant to be happy. I'm meant to be profound. I am meant to be happy. I am in my body, mind, heart, spirit, and soul, and I create a beautiful life. I create a beautiful life because I'm meant to. Spirit wants that for me. And everything placed before you is just a way to work through those fears, work through those stories for your whole collective, for your whole family, so that your children don't carry any karma, so that your children don't carry any of the densities that we came in with, and that your whole lineage and the whole collective is cleared from all of those little fears that are not there. They're not real. They're just other experiences that carried with you in this experience. And why we have the infinite potentiation to help the children now say, okay, what do you want 5D to look like? How do you want your learning experience to look like? Learning is for the soul's growth. So, and why we ask in comparison, which it's all very valid, it's all very true, and it's all very amazing. The eternal experience that we have in different bodies and different forms on different planets and different collectives is infinite. We have reptilian experiences, we have Sirian, Pleiadian, Antarian, Andromedan, Lyran. We have all of these different bodies and all of these different forms and all of these different experiences. We go through our growth cycle here on Earth, from being born all the way up to adulthood and elderhood. So in this, when we're talking about our multidimensional experience, the soul's learning experience is just to experience and express and explore as much as possible. There is no wrong. It's just exploring the infinite. God says, here you go, here's the infinite. How are you gonna move through it with what you have? Understanding the laws of the universe make it a lot easier, because then you just don't go willy-nilly doing stuff and hurting people and not caring about it, because it will come back to you. So understanding universal laws helps. There is always that navigation through dark and light and dense and not dense, because you need that to know, okay, well, that choice cost me this. Now how am I going to choose better so I don't keep going back to that? Because nobody would want to keep creating choices of harm, because you kind of get to learn your lessons, right? And then you choose differently. That's the whole process of soul growth. Soul growth means that, okay, I got my choices and what that did to me. So now how can I create a choice that's actually good for the greater good? Because I know I'm connected with this, this, and this, and it's going to harm them. So I want to choose something a bit better and a bit different. That's the law of oneness. And so in this soul development, we're talking about learning and growing and expanding our consciousness Consciousness is how you soak within every moment as being source, as being the all. And you're conscious in that, you then turn on your intuitive senses, your intuitive knowings, and you get to feel into the various ways that multidimensionality can take place. That's what multidimensional means. Multidimensionality means that you're consciously aware that you are the all. And you are the all. You can place your consciousness and your experiential in it and of it as it, because it's all spirit, and you can have your experience of it in any way that you so choose. Again, you can be the forest floor, you can be a grain of sand, you can be the leaf, you can be the tendrils, you can be the trunk. You see what we're saying? The all is the all and the one is the one. So when you awaken to this, which the children do at a very early age, and nobody's talking to them about this and how to use their gifts and skills, because all of the energies that we're feeding them are very steeped in limitation. They're steeped in violence and aggression. They're very steeped in whatever they're steeped in. Now we get to say, okay, what is the growth of the soul, and how can we get that going so that's really serving humanity in a really positive and dynamic way? First of all, we start with source, creator, infinite, because we are infinite and we're multidimensional. That multidimensionality spans out to everything. That means that they have the acknowledgement, well, if I'm multidimensional, that means that I can sense into it in different ways. And those of us that are conduits have that potentiation. We have the potentiation, as many children do, and there's things that will be coming up that we don't know how to explore. We don't know how to explain. The conduits feel the field and all that is around the field, and they can tune into something happening on this universe and pull it in and say, why did that come? Why am I getting that? Where is that from? And your teams will help you determine and dissect and process and integrate what that means. Or you can tap in here on this vibrational dimension. You can tap in there. You can tap in there. Conduits have that potential because God has given you that gift from all of your other lifetimes and the soul's plans that you've gone through and the learning that you've done and the spiritual tests that you've gone through. You've used the right use of will. You've had your spiritual tests so that you're not going to go into a timeline and harm people. You're not going to go into a timeline and do things that are not of the highest and the best. That's why you have those spiritual tests. And there are absolutely some that go through the spiritual tests and choose to do the opposite with their spiritual gifts. And then they learn the lessons of what occurs with those spiritual gifts. And that's up to the karma board, their soul, their higher self, and spirit, God. So, but you do have those tests so that you understand how to use the right use of will, how to not just remote view on people, how to just not use your gifts to get what you want. Because you have to have those spiritual tests, and God shows you. God says, okay, well, this is your next level. How are you going to use your gifts? And if you're tuning in with your higher self, your teams and your higher self will show you. Will you and can you use your gifts so that it will be used in the highest and the greatest good, so that you're benefiting creation, you're benefiting the world, you're benefiting those that are around you. And as you do so, God will continue to offer you new opportunities and new growth and new potential and new abundance. So it's always an infinite journey of your expansiveness, but you're here to learn the soul's lessons. That's why you're given those soul lessons and you're given those spiritual tests. Those spiritual tests allow you to understand universal laws and the greater good. Are you, and again, most often than not, as long as you're following your highest joy to create and be in the joy of spirit, you will most often than not always choose from that greatness, because you're choosing from that place of creative joy. And that creative joy doesn't ever harm others. It doesn't. Those tests come in and that healing comes in when an ego wound comes up, and perhaps say it's about competition or lack or fear, because there was many other planets where we didn't have enough resources, and it was all about having enough resources to survive. And so that's when those akashic wounds come up for us to heal. You might have tension at your work because you think you might be losing your job. Well, that fear of losing your job or lack of resources or competition is also threaded with maybe 5 or 6 other timeline planets. It's all valid. It's all a great shadow energy to work through, because once you do, you absolutely know you're infinite. Then you live in that infinite place of abundance. But it's to know that those wounds come up for a reason. So sit with it, get intimate with it, and allow yourself to express it so that you don't become stagnant and stay in that fear. And so the idea of multidimensionality is one of the most exciting things that we can offer the children, because the children have never been taught these things. They've been taught from a very limited base of knowledge about who they are, and they put their energy outside of them and their worth and their value outside of them because of the grading system, because of the value system that we place on doing. The more homework you do, the greater homework you do, the more faster you do it, the doing the tests, and all of those things that devalue and have nothing to do with multidimensionality. Multidimensionality is based on, as we said earlier, as you awaken, it's based on your consciousness. How aware are you of who you are as spirit on all levels in every way, right? we have infinite psychic senses and empathic senses and multidimensional galactic senses. And we can tune into it and honor it and bless it and create with it. Remember the 3 E's: explore, express, and experience ourselves as spirit. That's soul growth. And your teams are always there to make sure that, yes, you're aligning in the highest and the best. And we're moving through those times of great emotional release where there is so much wounding, and you're doing it in a way that is benevolent and constructive, so there's no harm done to yourself or others, and learning how to use that emotional body so that you're manifesting in joy and peace and goodness, and healing your body for yourself and all others that you're connected with. So it's a grand scheme and far more elegant than we've ever understood. And so I'm so grateful that I've come forward to at least share all of my experiences that are so very exciting. And so that's why they said that oftentimes we go through those shadow experiences because it's where we find ourselves the most brave. Because to go through those transcensions of the highest challenges, that's where we really seek the depths of our own courage and our own bravery to transcend it and see ourselves as the acceptance of it all. To know ourselves as that expansive soul experience, that we are one in the all. And we're going to need an infinite number of experiences to know that we're always constantly choosing to align ourselves with what feels good. To align ourselves with what feels good, sometimes we've got to know what doesn't feel good. Because the ego will always be a practice of that safety. And it's always from those fears that are really non-existent. They're just remembrances of vibration. And the remembrance of vibration you can transcend once you just surrender into them and accept it. And so the children are, so part of their worry and their concerns, well, how do they keep their grades up, right? How do they maintain their grades when, that's all that the systems ask for is, where are you in your grades and are you doing the work okay? And that's how they're judged and they're graded, but it has absolutely no value of who they are as spirit and what their true gifts are. So how do we flip it upside down? Again, that upside down effect. That's the honoring of the spirit and the soul in of itself. So they're constantly nourished as spirit in our new paradigm of 5D. So let's get excited. Let's start thinking and pondering and wondering and stretching our potentiation. When we're thinking about how are we creating these beautiful new systems, and these beautiful new systems can come from any one of you that are sitting and have always tuned into us because you're tuned in for a reason. How can you come up with these beautiful new learning and soul growth platforms where we can really create some really far out, really wild experiences that are multidimensional in essence? The multidimensionality of how we can use the intuitive inventiveness and intuitive intelligence of the infinite potential of who we are. Spirit is infinite, 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 infinite. Nothing can stop. No, there's no limitations. In this potentiation, how can we really use this and expand it so that they really get intrigued and excited about who they are? And they get to go deeper and deeper and deeper for the experience, the exploration, and the excitement. Then they get to express it. Then that therefore offers those new potentiations of excitement, because when you excite, those molecules start collecting other molecules, as we talked about earlier. When any one of you come up with one of these ideas and why you do what you do and why you're inspired, your inspirations come from the inspirator, spirit, creator, spirit, inspiration. It's of spirit. That of spirit comes directly from the highest counsels from spirit, from everybody that's helping with Earth's ascension, because they're now showing us that, wow, here's, you guys are really excited to do this. Let's drop some ideas here, here, and here. Those higher vibrational realms that drop codes, that drop ideas that are with us in that threaded experience. Remember, your soul is infinite, and you have infinite aspects of yourself on all vibrational realms that if you ask for the angels and the guides in your teams, which are other aspects of you, your guides are you, they're sending those pockets in your fields, in your dreams, in your DNA, in your codes that say, here's a pocket, here's a pocket, here's a pocket. We just have to open up to our intuitions and our sensings to download it, to ask for it. So yeah, I get that. That's why when you're doing something that's, just doing light housework, or you're just doing dishes and you're just sitting there pondering, that's when those are able to get through. It's when you're constantly distracted that we don't get those little pockets of inspiration, because you're shutting your intuition off. So this is where, again, our 5D parenting and our 5D raising of children will be to spend more and more time working with intuition, working with the emotional body, balancing the emotional body, so that these children can absolutely grab onto those oscillating molecules that are saying, hey, something's different, now what, now what, now what? And then they get threaded into these higher vibrational realms, higher vibrational thought patterns, higher vibrational potentials, higher vibrational patterns of infinite potentiation. And so those are the platforms that we're now creating. We're now understanding that we're multidimensional, and multidimensionality means that a different way of sensing, a different way of processing, a different way of integrating, a different way of becoming. That's multidimensionality. I am a soul of many different planets. I am a soul of many different realms. I am a soul of many different universes. And I can be of this, and I can speak of this, and I have gifts of this. It has nothing to do with a textbook that's just regurgitated year after year after year. A multidimensional being, as we talked about this weekend in our class, a multidimensional being that has the capacity of telepathic sensing can look at a book and understand the contents of it without even reading it, and get and grab what that needs. One code and one glyph of our light language can be a whole context of a library in one glyph, because that's multidimensionality. That's what light language is. It's the fluid movement of the higher dimensional realms of communication. And the system just knows it. The DNA knows it. The heart knows it. The honoring of the multidimensionality knows it. It just knows it. It bypasses all of the threads of density, and it just breaks it all up. Then you be like, wow, I just knew something. I just processed something that was really out there. I didn't think I would be able to get. It was like totally a mind wrap, right? That's when you just have those epiphany moments like, holy cow, that was just like awesome. That's when you know you're taking yourself to a new evolutionary state that the ego just can't do. Ego can't get you there. Your intuition of all that you are gets you there, because that is the emotive body. That is who you are. Spirit. Spirit is the emotive body. Spirit is like, yeah, let's do this. I want to feel great. I want to feel great. I want to feel great. I want to explore. I want to explore. I want to explore. That's when all those molecules start going like this. And you start calling in greater light. You start being greater light. You start feeling greater light. That's when you're like, wow, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. And all of these learning systems, as we said before, we want to make this one comparison. This is how we're changing. This is how we're evolving. It's so exciting. The soul's experience here is to experience thyself in all the different ways that the vibrational potentials offer you. In any one moment, you're creating a next vibrational moment to come to you, because that's reality, that's creation. Whatever you're vibrating at, it's going to come back to you. Your choices are going to come back to you. So in that coming back to you, you now have a choice to choose something different and navigate around it. It's the learning of the soul. It's experiential. Right? It's all vibrational. It's all experiential. You think it's physical, but it's just coming to you in physical, because that's how you need to see it yet, because you don't yet know the unseen. Just reality. That's the law of one. In this law of one, all multidimensional, all vibrational, all energetic, that's how we are. That's who we are, multidimensional. You can sense things and feel things and be things in a different way. You can read it, you can sense it, you can feel it, you can see it, whatever it is that you want to, whatever your gifts are, because spirit has each infinite gifts of the uniqueness of who you are. Everybody will be able to access and read information differently. This is the multidimensionality of the 5D platforms. How can we use this in inspiring and really getting to a brand new dynamic excitement for the children, so they get inspired to create their own platforms. They get to create their own multidimensionality systems of who they are, what they sense, how they see, how they read in different ways, and create it from the inside out, create it from the upside down. And absolutely put on the back burner and use it as an alternative system that they can always go back to and take different classes with, and absolutely keep all of the, the instructors that are absolutely masters in anthropology, and continue to keep going back and forth from traditional to multidimensional, traditional, multidimensional, because you want that. You want the marriage of both of it. And universities will be of both. They will be of traditional multidimensionality. It must be. We cannot not be. 5D, we will be multidimensional. We will have the information when we need it, but we will want that social experience, and we want to take on the traditions and the ancient histories of traditional experience. We will always do that, because it's a part of who we are. We would never want to say no to it. But what we want to do is we want to marry the high D with the traditional. And that the high D is all multidimensional. It means that it brings in the unseen and the intangible into tangible. And that's where we're infusing heaven on earth, because it is the allness. And so here was some channeled information that they were offering me. So again, the momentum of the pearl threaded. So breaking the pattern, you're that pearl that just left that pattern, and now you're creating some excitement, because change is always exciting. At first it won't be, because people are going, what do you mean you broke away from us? Does that mean you don't like us? And then all of the ego stuff starts to kick in, the fear and the jealousy and the anger and the agitation, but that's change. There's always, in change, they go through the growth cycle of chaos. Well, what now? What do we do now? What do we do now? That's all the insecurities and all the fears and all the worries and all the judgments. Then it gets into its homeostasis. Then it becomes more fluid and more stable, because they've all learned how to rely on one another once again. But then that next person says, well, I'm too bored here. I want to create something new. I see this happening over here, so I'm going to go. And that pearl threaded continues momentum. That's how the pearl threaded creates these bands of timelines, where there's more than one or two or a collective of beings that are creating those new timelines of love, timelines of love, timelines of love, or timelines of creativity, timelines of creativity. It's all based on how you're vibrating. There's an infinite number of people that will create timelines of fear and agitation. That's an earth experience that these won't experience. There's infinite number of earths, infinite number of potentials of experience. That's why they said to me this morning that it's really important that we reflect on what vibration are we putting out? What vibration are you putting out? Because it affects not only others and the whole world you're creating with, because it's the law of one, and we're 5D, quasi 5D now, so we're affecting it much faster. What vibration are you in your reality? So take time to reflect throughout your day. What vibration am I at? Let's reflect upon where my vibration is, because I'm creating it. And oh my gosh, you want to be sure about where your vibration is, because it's going to come back at you real quick. So you can create an earth of whatever vibrational reality you so choose. So the more aligned you are in spirit, creating from that beautiful heart space in excitement, in joy, in creativity, you know that you're going to be on an earth that's aligned with joy and creativity. And you're also empowering that for others to follow that pearl thread. And that is the quantum evolutionary potential of change and evolution. And it takes that time for that momentum for all other pearls threaded to gather together and those tribes and communities create. And their inventiveness of those molecular, similar oscillations, if you will, it will never be always in pure alignment because you wouldn't want it to be. It's always different because every soul has a different story, a different template. And so the children need that from us. They need to know that there's different things happening in different oscillations so they can really get excited, and releasing the valuing system on things that are not really spirit, that won't last. They are not long-term because it's not fulfilling the self and the spirit within. Because those are egocentric systems of devaluing, of systems of judgment, of systems of accreditation. And they're not 5D because it's not spirited in alignment. They will always be valid, if you will, because we'll always want a part of it, because that's just what we did in traditionality. It's all valid, basically, because it's all. Let's get excited. I'm here to inspire that. Okay, so here's what they said. So we're just talking about the grading system, traditional versus high D. And the high D is multidimensional, which is intuitive, which is the creative spirit, the creative soul, and how the infinite number of ways that each person reads, processes, senses, and interprets, and expresses, which is what conduits and prophets and visionaries do. We translate, if you will, the word of spirit, the downloads that we get from the many councils of light, those that we are soul contracted with and agreed with. We have many, each and every person on this planet has a team of guides, a team of beings and groups that they work with for the collective, galactic, planetary, universal, cosmic, galactic. There's an infinite number of groups that every person works with. There might be a group of galactic beings that work with ecology and plants from other planets that come to this planet, and we create new ecologies. Because I've had clients that have those in their groups, so I know. And we've read these information systems and these things that we do in those experiences in those groups. And there's people that work with children collectives, and there's people that work with water collection and water groups that that create the values of water and how important it is in the ecosystem and the biosphere and all of life systems. And so we're doing all of these experiences on the multidimensional level, each and every one of us, without fail. Make no mistake about it. You're far vaster and grander than you know. Why? When you do wake up, you end up going into these different areas and arenas of excitement and interest, because now you're aligning with your soul's purpose. And that's why you have all of these beings that are coming to you now, wanting to help and co-create with you, because those higher vibrational groups and collectives are helping you download why you're here and why you would never ever want to copy or mimic or take anybody else's experiences or stories. You would never want to do that, because when you're awake, you absolutely know, wow, my experience is really unique and beautiful. I wouldn't want to be anybody else. And that's that self-love factor. And this is why, again, we also have to upload this and really start creating with excitement that self-sovereignty, because the children have gone through all of these egocentric grading systems where they're saying, well, who am I? And they've got to look to others about who they are. And they want to have that. There's that competition factor. Well, no, go within, because your uniqueness and you're connected with groups and guides and councils that you have no idea about, and you're going to help change things. I mean, you're profound. Get on that. You're profound. So get on that. You've got all of these beautiful experiences that you're meant to help heal Gaia, especially the divine feminine at this time, because the divine feminine has been specifically, and that means men in the divine, men that have a very divine, men that have a strong divine feminine coding. They also have these experiences. The divine feminine, thank you, Spirit, the divine feminine equation, I suppose, is how you operate in the majority of your experience. And you want to be always Vesica Pisces. You always want to be in that center point. But there are many of us that come in the higher intuitive experience. And that is just known as divine feminine. There's really not. Because once you hit 5D, everybody's intuitive, right? It's just been labeled and defined under the divine feminine, but everybody is. This is where we're rewriting everything in our history. We're writing tarot. We're rewriting that tarot has been with us for thousands of years. The divination of tarot and symbolisms and archetypes and all those other things. They've been with us for forever. Divination tools. The masters have used divination tools. There's probably very few masters that have not used divination tools because they assist us in the histories of who we have been and what is the subconscious and what is the conscious and what is the superconscious. And so it's allowing us that pearl threaded into how we are evolving as higher consciousness beings. But each person is responsible for their own stuff. Each person is responsible for their own light. Each person is responsible for their own joy factor. Nobody else can take it on. Nobody else would want to take it on. Nobody else is responsible for anybody else's stuff. Everybody's individual. It's all your own individuation of your soul's growth, your soul's experience with spirit. And spirit will make sure you're cared for equal measure, that you're doing the work. If you're not doing the work, can't expect it, right? Got to do the work. Got to do that healing. Got to do the healing to show spirit. Yes, I'm in it. I'm in it for the long term. Let's do it, spirit. Let's go. And that's each person's ride, and it's very sacred. It's very sacred. It's a very sacred journey. There's things about my ride that nobody knows. Nobody knows, and they're not going to know. Not ever. It's me and spirit. It's me and spirit. Spirit won't allow it. Spirit's got stuff blocked, scrambled. Not everybody will know your business. Not everybody. Even if they think they do, they won't. And that's just all the experiences I've had about. So we want to go to the bravest thing here. Okay, so yeah. So the youth are keeping up with their grades, and how are they going to do it? And how can they create the systems within their own creational learning? So we want to go back to this one point that I didn't finish making. I was getting there. Creating systems from traditional to high D, multidimensional. The soul's experience, the soul's purpose of all experiences is to experience everything, experience. From your choice, from your vibration, then you experience what you've chosen and your vibration. That's life. What is your vibration? What are your choices in that vibration? From all that spirit offers you, there's an infinite number of choices at any moment. What are you vibrating? What are your choices? And then what is your result of that vibration and choice? That's creation in a nutshell. That's it. So it's up to each person to say, okay, what am I vibrating at? Wow, okay, how can I choose better? How can I heal myself and love myself so that absolutely what I see is what I want? That's creation. You are a co-creator with spirit. The infinite is available to you. There again, only in as long as you're using it within the right use of free will. Because if you're not, then spirit will absolutely cap. The cap, if you're not using the right use of free will. Because spirit will not allow innocent beings to be harmed and hurt just because people want to play in negativity and darkness. There will be the experiences where you're learning and you're growing, but spirit will say, okay, we've told you, we've shown you, there's enough information out there of the kind of 10 commandments thing, you know, that's enough, right? Get on with it. And so, and again, that's what every soul needs. So it's all perfect. It's all real. It's all experiential. So whatever every soul needs, that's what they need. But just know there are those soul lessons and there are those soul experiences and there are spiritual beings and there are spiritual councils and there are spiritual groups and you do have spiritual guides that walk you through everything. So breathe throughout your day, choose from the heart and choose in a way that serves people and serves yourself because you want what's coming back to you to be of benefit. You want it to be awesome. You want it to be soul fulfilling. You want it to serve your soul. Because the ego will only be short-lived. It'll be like momentary and then you'll be on to something else. So soul will keep you fulfilled for a long time. Soul is like soul growth, soul growth. And so they were saying that the going beyond the work club, so going beyond what we've done in tradition, because the soul wants experience and that soul experience is that navigation of vibration. How can I be that multidimensional? Navigation of vibration is the multidimensionality. Navigation of vibration is multidimensionality. When you can sense more, when you're conscious of more, when you can feel into more, that's the emotive body, that's how you manifest, then you're really manifesting. Then you know that you're 5D. I say 5D only in that you're ready to start creating those templates of, wow, because you're sensing into real greatness. You're sensing into spirit matter, the spirit experience that is ready for matter. And that's why we have the practice realm, 3 to 4D. We're practicing how to instantly manifest. You want to make sure that you got the universal laws down so that you're not manifesting, great tragedy. You want to make sure you're manifesting greatness and fun and awesomeness. And so they were saying that how can the children now be a part of creating these new multidimensional systems? Because the multidimensional systems and our learning and our growth systems will be experiential, which is the difference between traditional to experiential, which is all the multidimensionality. That's really expansive. That's the upside down effect, because it's not stifled in the systems of, boxed in, tangible, physical. We're going outside. We're going to go. Everything is like expansive. And it's all valid. Remember, everything is all valid. I'm only offering the experiences to you as the infinite palette, and there's infinite number of things in between. There is so many things in between when we call learning systems. But we want to expand it. Going beyond work, club, activity, or fairs. You know how the children have those work fairs and they get to see once a year all the different businesses and all the different universities, and they come and they explore them. So how can we create something totally different from that? Something totally different that is not work, something that's not really club, something that's not really activity, but it's the multidimensionality of it all. And that's flipping it up right upside down. And tapping into the high vibe reality that is always being offered, because multidimensionality is everything, all things. It's everything, all things. We find it truly exciting as we look upon all realms and we observe on how you all seek the jungle of potential of the unseen and to catalyze it in new beginnings. So that's what we're talking about. Multidimensionality is the jungle of the unseen. There's infinite things that are in the spirit. And then we get to say, okay, how can I use this? How can I use this? When you're tapped into spirit and you're just open to spirit and your higher self sends you this, it's like, wow, that's awesome. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. When you're continually creating those experiences, right? That is the multidimensionality of what is possible. And so how can we observe through the sensings of who we are, what is really our potential? And then you get to start creating matter from it. So escalating topics of interest begin to spawn new portals and pathways for systems that are higher functioning and aligned in the multidimensionality of creativity, which is currently untapped and unused or underused. And so that's what we were talking about. That's where all the excitement comes. That's where it's really untapped. We're not even using it right now. So escalating topics of interest begin to spawn new portals and pathways for systems that are high functioning and align in multidimensional creativity, which is currently untapped and underused. And so this is what we're turning right upside down, old systems to new systems. Old systems to new system. How are you able to explore, to discover one another is through your observation of who you are within thyself, yet untapped or unknown, and see it from a multidimensional perspective. So again, when we're talking about anything in our current reality that is held within a system of stories and standards that are still limiting, because everything right now is still limiting. If it's not the infinite, it's still limiting in some way. So anything in our reality right now, and this is why there's 7 billion people on our planet, 7 billion people going through awakening, everybody's got a role to play. I mean, seriously, everybody's got a role. All of these experiences are now still in this limiting state that are being shaken about. These molecules are all being shaken. And it's up to each and every person to say, wow, that's my thing. Wow, that's my thing. That's my thing. How can we work together? And it will always be about the reunifying of what was. And everyone can take that and just think about that for the next day. That's profound. And that's what they've been saying for the last week or two. Because now that all these systems are broken up, and now that everybody's feeling kind of these movements of particles and these energies at the subconscious level, saying, okay, well, that means like we're going this way, we're going that way. The separation kind of factors, there's bringing in some of those fears for people. But that's meant to shake it up and say, well, that means that there's all these particles that are now free floating, and now all the particles can find their rightful vibrational place, and then that's when the recommunion happens of those vibrating molecules that are more vibrating at a similar experience and a similar pattern. Because remember, not all people are going to have the same vibrational pathway throughout their entire ascension process. They just won't. That's why people break away and go here for a couple of years, go there for a couple of years, come back, because they want to experience the palette of navigation. They must. That's how mastery is earned. That's why sometimes you have to have those moments of deconstruction and tower moments where you really do choose something you didn't want to choose. And the 12th dimensional creators said to me, I've asked them many times, why would I choose that? Why would I choose that? And they said, you go within to the very darkest, that's where you'll be your bravest. Go back to the very shadowest part of your shadow. And your shadow will always tell you that you needed it for a reason, to clear out the very deepest wound that you had of separation. Because those are the lessons on this planet, of separation, and where the wounding happened, of separation. When you were not valued, when you were not treasured, when you were not loved, when you were not honored. Separation. When you are not valued as the loving, unconditional being you are, that is separation. Because that is the experience that innocent, beautiful, sacred God child says, that says, you're not loved and you're not needed for me. And that is the eternal experience that we have with, first of all, our parents. Because our parents are that first individuation of ourself, which is the God source, mother, father. And often, most often than not, very few people have come from highly functioning, normal, happy, benevolent, sacred, loving, unconditional parents that are constantly loving and unconditional. Because that's not the ride of this planet. The ride of this planet has been to sort out separation. And it's a challenging, masterful planet. That's why it's called the mastery school of the galaxy. We are here to learn the hardest lessons of separation, and why absolutely we manifest things we don't want. That's when you're really centered and say, whoa, okay, hold up, stop sign. I'm going to do whatever it takes to go within and connect with spirit. So I'm absolutely making all my choices with my higher self. And that's when you know you're awakening, because you don't want to continue creating choices that are not serving you. Because if they're not serving you, they're not serving others around you. As I said to my teams the other day, I said, well, how can I make this next choice that's in the highest and the best of, my kids? They say the same thing every single time. When you're following your highest and best path without hesitation, without apology, they are being served in their highest and their best. Because again, your highest and your best is offering them the highest potentiation of light and the highest acceleration of molecular, magnetic, quantum energy that they're being fed because of the soul connection. And their souls are connected with your souls, as well as all other souls on the planet. You have people on your soul's team. You have people in your soul family that you don't even know about, that might live across the street or might live in India or Kathmandu. So again, why would we judge? Because the very people you judge are right in your soul family. They're you. They're you. We have the experiences with others that we do because they show us the depth of love that we're able to accept and love and honor ourselves. It's always about self-acceptance. Always. That's, again, returning back to oneness. Separation is judgment and non-acceptance. So that's where our wounds reside. Accept it all. Accept it all. Return to center. How may I emote? How may I emote from a place that's balanced and loving and kind and good? How may I emote from a place that really makes me feel good? Because I want to have a really rich life. And so now when we talk about 5D beauty, it's rich in spirit. Are you feeling rich in spirit? Are you feeling really good about yourself? You're feeling about how you want to nourish yourself, how you want to really feel good about yourself. So remember, the early morning daily self-care, we've got it posted on Twitter. We always post our journal pages on Twitter, and we put out really good inspirational quotes. So check us out on Twitter. I think it's Joanna Light 33 on Twitter, and connect with us on Facebook. I've got a new Facebook page. I can't remember what it's called, but it's on the link below. I closed out all my other social accounts. So let's talk about some rich and beauty stuff. I love the tonics and oils, which we'll be talking about more in the coming months, because it's one of my excitements is tonics. And so we're going to do some of that. And this is a rosewater spray, a rosewater mineral oil. And I use this for different things. I use it for when I come out of the bath and come out of the shower, and my body is still really, really warm from the really hot bath and shower, and I've just cleansed and purified. And then I use this to spray and to close my pores, and to spray on a cleansing mist of rose water. I've just been using rose water lately to purify my fields at nighttime. So I'm really, really happy about the rose waters. And there's different ones now. They have lots of different rose waters. And I also, throughout the day, for those women that are, watching, I shampoo my hair like once every 3 or 4 days, just to let the natural oils nourish the hair. And so just spraying the rose water throughout your hair, it's kind of like a dry shampoo, and just kind of freshen up with a really nice smell. And so you can use rose water for that. It smells so pretty. It smells so pretty. And then we're going to talk about the peppermint oil. Peppermint oil is a really nice one. And the peppermint for me has been really soothing anxiety. So peppermint is really, really good for anxiety. And just calming the systems down, So when you're going through, you like get a couple of sprays, look online for what is good for you. And you can also, citrus is really good for kids for recalibrating their biochemical systems. And I used to give my kids just little bottles like this. And when they were feeling kind of tense and, stressed out about school, just to take a couple of sniffs and just get their, and just recreate that just fresh, natural recalibration. And so just read which ones, and there is a couple, one of my favorites is bergamot. Bergamot is also used for stress reducing and just relieving that stress, and they do have a bergamot perfume. And I've used bergamot, I just dab it on and just throughout the day I just smell. And so I use essential oils for that as well. Depending on where you're at in your ascension cycle, if you're going through a release, you want to get as many anxiety reducers as you can. And see, they've got another rose water. I like rose water. I've got another one upstairs. And the intruder's oil of any pathogens that are in the air. So I take these when I'm traveling, when you're in airports and when you're on airplanes or when you're in hotel rooms and you've got the air conditioning, and the intruder's oil just helps with the pathogens in the air and just clearing out the nasal passages, and just before bed, or when you're coming off of traveling and you have a shower and then you spray it in your space, right where they always have the air conditioning things on the wall. So the intruder oils are used for that. And then, of course, the lavender mist. And I always use lavender mist when I'm having my meetings and my group events. And I just spray lavender because it really smells pretty and resets the room, the frequency in the room. And you just use affirmations, clapping sounds, and you call in the angels and you call in various groups that want to be with you in co-creation. I'm so grateful for you today, all the beings that are with us. And then the peppermint I use for stress and anxiety release. We're so grateful for that. Thank you. What was that? That's my lips. Oh, and I just found a really nice lipstick I wanted to show you. This one is so pretty. I'm wearing it right now. And this lipstick is one of my favorite. It's the CoverGirl, and it's it's called the Sweetheart Blush, number 390. And it's really, really pretty. It's got a light little kind of iridescent look, and it's the Sweetheart Blush. And it's a cream color, and I've got different ones. They're just my go-to if I'm just going out. Sometimes if I don't put on makeup, I just put on a nice little, the CoverGirl. They've got really great colors and tones, so I really like those. So those are my little lifestyle beauty tips for today. And we wanted to pull a beautiful oracle for you. And think about the beautiful men that come and watch my shows all the time. Put your, your 5D Rich in Beauty hints and things below, and links if you have any infusers that you use or any oils that you use and what you use them for. I would love to hear from you. Or you can email me, my email. Escalating topics. There was one other thing that they wanted to talk about also. Okay, yeah, here was another one that they said. So compassion and acceptance is always the way to allow yourself the sacred oneness of your own acceptance, as well as the acceptance and the belonging of all others, because God is the belonging and the acceptance of all. God would never ever judge as if you will, that's good or that's bad or that's not, that's accepted, that's not accepted. It's all in the story of our evolution, and we have to go through that evolution of all vibrations. So every vibration is needed for us to know and for us to grow. That's the soul growth. That is the emotive body. That's why it's so exciting, so exciting. So always stretching and reaching beyond. We see you advancing greatly in the knowing of not only your new routines for higher and healthy living. That's again, we were talking about today, the richness of beauty, and really creating those great ways that you can feel healthy and feel beautiful and feel sacred and feel loved and feel empowered, and to know that you're absolutely worthy of living your best life without apology. Live your best life and know that you're meant to feel beautiful. Know that you're meant to shine beautifully without apology. You're meant to be exactly who you are. So really know that and honor it, and without apology, accept it and claim it as your own. And for healthy and beautiful living, that in the expression of who you are will always be changing. So remember, as you get to express and honor yourself more, you're always going to be changing, right? So you're going to have a different reason to explore your 5D beauty and what that means, because every day it's going to be different. The more you love on that 5D beauty, it's rich in beauty, rich in spirit, rich in beauty. So the more spirit you are of accepting all things that are spirit, not leaving anything out, that's when you really get rich in beauty, because you've experienced it all. That's why those that are really high in light vibration, if you will, they've gained that light through a whole lot of darkness. Make no mistake about that. So any falsities that anyone might have, because that comes from the old egoic systems of judgment and grading and all those kind of things where we compare ourselves to others, all that kind of systems that are breaking away, because it's not the value system of spirit. One does not create great light without going through that darkness and absolutely meeting the shadow face to face, because that shadow is just you. They're all aspects of you in any body, in any realm throughout the galaxy. Why it's really important right now, which they showed me, is that there are vibrational dimensions right now that are being threaded with ours. Like, it's amazing what's going on in our multiverse right now. It's beyond what we can explain and explore. That's why it's really, really important to know where you're vibrating at, what you're creating, and the timelines that you're really creating from. And through that choice factor of love is so important, because there's so much going on and you want to be a part of that really exciting ride. And so not only are we creating the higher vibrational healthy living, and that's through the expression of who you're always changing into. You're always becoming, always becoming, always becoming, always becoming. And that's the excitement. And in that becomes also, as you're always constantly becoming, and you're aligning yourself with greater health and wellness, because you really have to be attuned with what your bodies and your fields and your emotives need. Your emotive body needs things in different times, so that you can, your emotive body, again, as we said, is multidimensional. It's how you sense and how you feel in different ways. Is attached to many other different systems. You have an infinite number of systems in your multidimensional experience through which how you communicate and process information. That's how you're one with all that is. When you're one with all that is, you open up to more all that is communication, because that's how we know who we are, is through communication. The communication is love and harmonics, light codes. It's a harmonic. It's the symphony of light, symphony of song, symphony of ascension, symphony of God, symphony of breath. It's a song. It's a harmonic. All throughout creation, it's a harmonic. So in that, boom, that is where the light of intelligence is sparked. Bing, 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 bing. That's light. Light begets light, light begets light, light begets light. It's intelligence. And so in the becoming of the rich in beauty and becoming of the rich in spirit, boom, 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 boom. It is the intelligent factor. The intelligent factor doesn't mean, again, from the old 3D, means you're smarter. No, it just means that you're able to sense more, the multidimensional sensing. And this is why, again, we will be shifting from old system to new system, because how a child senses and what encapsulates them as intelligent or brilliant or genius has nothing to do with the old grading systems. It absolutely doesn't. Because many of us have gone through school and we have been emotionally intelligent, and there's been no way to grade that. How would you, and why would you? Why would you? I've always known of my intelligence, and I don't have to prove it to anybody. I don't need a grading system or a certificate. I just know it. I know who I am. I don't have to prove it. There's no system that could prove my intelligence. No test. I would never take a test. I don't need it, because it's done on a multidimensional system. What God channels through me is different on any moment. And that's why you can't. You could never judge anybody or grade anybody or want to, or test anybody. You just couldn't, and you wouldn't want to. That is the benevolent miracle that is spirit. Spirit places it before you because it's a gift. It's a gift because you've opened yourself up as the pure vessel of potential. And that is multidimensional. That's when you got to clear out those healing systems. You got to clear out what's going on in those chakras and those belief systems that keep you limited and lack. Because the intelligence of light is, you can sense it in an infinite number of ways. That's what's really exciting to all these other groups and councils they were showing me, is that we find it really exciting to watch you as you're exploring your realm. We're fascinated to observe how you seek for that next level of what? That next level of spiritual matter that's coming into matter. Hi, Spirit, I see you. I see a spirit right behind me. Thank you. And so, thank you, Spirit. I love you. Thank you, Spirit. The expression of intelligence and how we can move about in our new reality to very dynamic and wise and diverse ways. So when you become more multidimensionally awake, and you're seeing and sensing different energies, as I'm able to right now, the Spirit's sitting right there, many different ways that you're able to sense and see spirit. Yet that offers you the potential, thank you, Spirit, to open into the infinite ways of your oneness with it. Remember, one of the first truths, as you experience something, you are one as it. And you then become it. That's why it's great to understand why you're focusing on what you focus on, because you become it and you create a rally around it. So what are you focusing on? How do you want to feel? Because you're creating it. So that's why when you're experiencing, yes, I'm multidimensional, I acknowledge myself as multidimensional. I acknowledge myself, I can sense and I can create and I can process and I can integrate and I can co-create in any way. That's spirit. Spirit's putting the energy before me. I can do it. Bring it to me, spirit. The excitement factor, the sacredness of the joy, the sacredness of the child, and exploring within it. Then you become one with the intelligence within it, and it will offer you whatever intelligence is needed at that time. And your spirit and your soul, depending on your level of consciousness and why you need it, it's always relevance. Sometimes it's just for joy. You'll see what you need to see and how you need to see it and how you need to feel it. And then always, again, what's important right now is reflection, because it allows you to say, where am I vibrating at? How can I really refine and attune so that I'm really tuning in and tapping into where I'm creating? Because you're a creator. You're responsible for your reality. So now let's have some fun. And so again, when we're thinking about this whole multidimensional upside down effect for how the children, the youth and the children, really seeing them and knowing them and empowering them and inspiring them and encouraging them that they are multidimensional beings. In this multidimensional potentiality, how can we then start creating systems that are multidimensional and emotive so that they're truly creating from that higher vibrational platform? And incorporating, yes, the benevolence and the giftedness of what was and the greatness of what can be. These things are not being taught right now. So these are truths of our universe, truths of the now of humanity ascending. And we're so grateful that you tuned in for this beautiful, expansive exploration that we always offer you in the excitement of who I am as a cosmic universal queen and a beautiful universal earth mother and star mother. And I'm bringing it forward for the collective children. I'm bringing it forward for evolution, for it to be used in the highest and most benevolent of cyclical ways through which we advance as a human collective, and the universal angels and beautiful guides and the beings that are helping us move through such tremendous transformative times. And so for those of you that would like to connect with us and all of our teaching, consulting, expansive healing, webinars, classes, communities of light, we offer so very much, and we're so excited for you to connect with us and join us. We're so happy for your connection. Please click on the links below and please like and subscribe to our channel. I always forget to say that. So let's pull one card. And thank you for your donations. We love your donations so very much. We've created some new illustrations from your donations, and we love your offerings and your help with us. I would love your donations. I'm always excited to receive your fair exchange for our beautiful offerings to your beautiful heart. It's always done in the highest love of who I am for you and your evolution. And that's why I'm here, is to shine my light to assist you in finding and seeking and bringing yours forward and understanding the incredible but complex process of ascension. Oh, this is one of my favorite ones. This is the coming to life card. As we said, our systems are all coming to life, and it's how we are creating within that beautiful experience of our emotive body. So she's gone through this process of discovery, and she's had all of these experiences and all of these experiences of sacred soul friends that she's had along her journey that are with her in this next level of transformation. She's realizing that in her past cycle that she's learned so much, and she's taking the wisdom with her, and now she gets to create in a whole new way, and she gets to create from new tools, she gets to create from new experiences, she gets to create from new colors of her essence of who she is and the love of who she is. And it's always within the cycle of evolution through self-love and self-acceptance, and knowing that you are all aspects of your experience, you're all aspects of the potential of the experience, you're all aspects of the resolution of the experience. And anything that you need along the way will always, always, always be supplied to you by spirit through your pure intention to see yourself through on the other side as something new, as something grounded, as something pure and sacred. For we are coming from separation into oneness, and it does require that we accept fully and love ourselves fully. And we'll always transmute, and we'll always ascend and expand in that way. And there's always the transformational experience that we have. And all aspects of life are needed. She's got the little reptiles and the snakes and the crows and the ravens and all of her beautiful. And the tiles that are in the path behind her, she's had to walk through the various stages of light and dark and light and dark and light and dark. And now she gets to say, this is who I choose to be right now. And I'm a bit raw and I'm a bit vulnerable, and I get to create my life, and I'm going to own it. And I'm going to be rich in beauty, and I'm going to be rich in the spirit of who I am, because that's beautiful to me. And my spirit is unexplainable and it's undeniable. And I'm quite happy with it being just a mystery. This is how it will be from 5D here on out. It will be unexplainable. It's meant to be. Each day that you wake up, allow yourself to be a mystery. Allow yourself to be a bit unexplainable. Allow yourself to keep parts of your path and your journey just for you, and honor it. Be sacred in it. and love it, and have it be a part of your own healing and your own magnificence. Not everybody needs to know your story, parts of your story. Keep parts that are special just for you. As we said, those are the parts that you're glowing with, and you're with God, and you're with the Creator, and your oneness with God is that's your oneness with God, right? That's the work that you've earned. You've earned your place. You've earned your place in that spiral. You've earned your place of that incredible profundity of who you are and what you know, and how you've earned it, and how you've placed it within the collective to be shared and honored and to be offered in equal exchange. And be okay asking for equal exchange. You know how much work you've put in, and you know how much work you've created that equal flow of respect and equality, right? That's what we're moving into, a beautiful world of greater equality and greater balance, where we're all valued. Every person is valued. No more disenfranchisement. We're all valued. We're all perfect. We're all real as spirit, going through an infinite number of paths that are all acceptable. It's all real. It's all true. It's all valid. They're all the experiences we need to know that we are all accepted and valuable. Sacred children of Earth. Sacred children of Earth. Yay! So this series is called Youth and Ascension, where we're taking ourselves and we're flipping all other traditional systems that are all so beautiful and sacred. They're all beautiful. They're all sacred. We've learned so much, but now we're ready to step out into the beyond. We're ready to reach into the beyond. We're ready to grow into the beyond. Now what? This upside down approach. So in any way that you can, think about the upside down approach in every new day, so that you can take yourself out of routine. You can take yourself out of your box. You can explore yourself in new ways, in intimate ways, in beautiful ways, and bring yourself new together every day. Expand who you are, discover who you are, explore who you are, and get out with Gaia. She is our greatest manifester of health, of healing, and abundance in all ways. She's infinitely abundant. And we thank you so much. We have our classes and our intuitive private healing sessions, our webinars, our global webinars, and our private consulting sessions and alignments. So please feel free to contact me, and my email is below, and we love you so much. Bye, dear lighted ones. We love you. We love you. Bye.